The story begins at a moment of great danger, when the vast draconic star empire is already burning under attack, and the opening shows space itself filled with fire, broken ships, and fear as the Void Dominion moves closer to the heart of dragon rule, making the threat clear from the very first lines. Because this is not a small war, but the possible end of an ancient civilization. And while mighty dragon warships breathe starfire and plasma into the darkness, the enemy keeps coming without fear or mercy, showing that strength alone may not be enough this time. And inside the obsidian palace, carved into a floating asteroid and glowing with ancient power, the Dragon Emperor Kelthar watches the battle with a heavy heart, not because he fears defeat for himself, but because his greatest weakness lies far from the battlefield, resting in a quiet chamber where his only son, Ethon, lies unable to move. And this contrast between endless power outside and deep helplessness inside sets the emotional core of the story. As Ethon is a dragon prince who cannot walk or fly, which in dragon culture is worse than death, because dragons are born to rule the skies, and without wings or strength, they are seen as broken. And many healers, scholars, and masters have already failed to help him, declaring that no magic, science, or ancient ritual can change his fate, leaving the emperor surrounded by whispers and doubt from his own people, while the war outside grows closer every hour, making the situation feel tight and hopeless. And the emperor's fear becomes deeply personal as he realizes he may lose his empire and his son at the same time, which makes his legendary power feel meaningless. And then the story shifts with the arrival of an unexpected figure, a human maid named Elena Ward, whose entrance is quiet and almost insulting to the pride of the Dragon Court, because humans are considered small, weak, and unimportant, used only for cleaning and simple labor. Yet Elena steps into the prince's chamber with calm eyes and steady courage. And instead of bowing in fear or silence, she speaks honestly after seeing medical scans that others ignored, explaining that while she does not understand dragon magic, she understands broken systems. And this moment is important because it introduces the human way of thinking, which focuses on solving problems instead of accepting fate. And when she says the prince is not cursed but disconnected, she challenges thousands of years of dragon belief in destiny and bloodline, angering the healers but catching the emperor's attention, because she offers something no one else has offered, not hope through faith, but hope through action. And as explosions shake the palace and defenses fall outside, the emperor faces a choice between pride and survival, tradition and change. And he chooses to listen to a human because he has nothing left to lose. And this decision becomes the turning point of the story, because by allowing Elena to try, he opens the door for humanity to prove its value. And the part ends with a powerful feeling that something new has begun, not through strength or magic, but through stubborn human refusal to accept that something is impossible, setting the stage for growth, struggle, and transformation. While the war continues to close in, making every second count and raising the tension for what comes next. Part 2 of the story builds on the foundation laid in the first part, focusing on the struggle, ingenuity, and perseverance that define both humanity and the young dragon prince. And it begins in the shadow of a galaxy at war, with the Void Dominion's forces advancing relentlessly, crushing worlds and entire star systems while the dragons fight valiantly but are slowly losing ground. And the Emperor's fleets burn and fall, sending plumes of fire into space as each battle reminds everyone of the overwhelming odds they face, creating a sense of desperation and urgency that hangs over every action. And amid this chaos, the story shifts inward to the palace, where Elena works tirelessly to help Ethon, her determination standing in stark contrast to the destruction around them. And she begins by requesting materials, some ordinary, some rare, combining human technology with dragon resources, using scrap metal, neural chips, power cells, and dragon crystal to craft a system that could bypass the limitations of Ethan's damaged body. And this combination of human ingenuity and dragon resources illustrates the central theme of the story, that human creativity, adaptability, and determination can overcome challenges that seem insurmountable even to powerful species. And as she works, she faces skepticism and ridicule from the dragon healers and engineers, who cannot comprehend why a human would try to fix what they believe could not be fixed. And this tension emphasizes the cultural and intellectual differences between humans and dragons, showing how human strength is not physical but lies in problem-solving, observation, and relentless effort. And Elena builds neural braces for Ethan's legs and wing supports that are light but strong, using careful calculations and repeated testing, demonstrating her methodical approach and refusal to give up even when the prince moves only slightly or falls repeatedly. And every small success is hard-won, filled with pain, frustration, and doubt. But Elena stays beside him, encouraging him, teaching him to fall and rise again, and this creates a bond between human and dragon that is unusual in the Empire, and one that begins to show that true strength is not inherited or granted, but forged through effort and courage. And as the days pass, the war continues to rage outside, with the Void Dominion closing in on the dragon capital and devastating fleet after fleet, heightening the stakes because every minute counts. Yet within the palace, Ethan begins to grow, first twitching a claw, then moving a leg, and finally managing to stand on his own, each small triumph mirrored by the tension outside where the galaxy seems to crumble, creating a dual narrative of internal and external struggle. And Elena adapts and improves the systems, adding thrusters to his wings that allow him to fly in a way that is different from normal dragon flight, showing that human innovation works not by copying dragons but by thinking differently, by using technology to compensate for what nature cannot provide. And this is crucial because it reinforces the story's central HFY message. Humans succeed not by being stronger than other species but by being smarter, adaptable, and persistent. And when Ethan finally spreads his wings and takes flight, it is not effortless. He struggles, falls, and rises again, each motion painful but meaningful. And Elena's guidance throughout mirrors the human role in history as enablers and catalysts, helping those with potential reach what was once thought impossible. And as the Void Dominion breaches the inner defenses of the capital, the urgency escalates, forcing Ethan and Elena to act, with the young dragon prince deciding he must fight despite his past weakness. And Elena teaches him that victory will not come from trying to imitate other dragons, but by using the human methods she has instilled: adaptability, problem-solving, and courage under pressure. And this preparation transforms Ethan from a helpless child into a being capable of confronting the most powerful enemy in the galaxy, demonstrating a metamorphosis of character, spirit, and ability that is both personal and symbolic, reflecting how humanity's influence can change even the mightiest beings and their fates. And through this process, the story shows multiple layers of conflict: physical struggle as Ethan trains, technological and intellectual struggle as Elena invents and adapts, emotional struggle as both confront fear, pain, and doubt, and cultural struggle as dragons begin to recognize that humans, once considered weak and inferior, can alter destinies in ways previously unimaginable. And these combined struggles build to a climax within the palace and set the stage for the epic confrontation to come. Because Ethan's flight marks not just a personal victory, but the emergence of a new strategy, a new hope, and a new alliance between humans and dragons, illustrating that true power comes not from heritage or might alone, but from resilience, cooperation, and the courage to try what others say cannot be done. And all this occurs while the war outside grows ever fiercer, ensuring that the internal victories are inseparable from the external stakes. And the reader feels both the tension of the galaxy-wide conflict and the intimacy of human influence on an individual life, culminating in Ethan finally standing and preparing to enter battle, a transformed being ready to face the Void Dominion, symbolizing not just a personal breakthrough but the broader potential of humans to stand beside the galaxy's greatest powers and change outcomes in ways that seem impossible. Setting the stage for the final, climactic part of the story where ingenuity, bravery, and the fusion of human and dragon strength will confront overwhelming odds. Part 3 of the story brings all the previous threads together and delivers the epic climax and resolution, beginning with the galaxy at the breaking point as the Void Dominion's fleet, massive and relentless, pours into the heart of the Draconic Empire. Thousands of ships spreading across the stars like a black tide. While dragon fleets are already exhausted from endless battles, their numbers diminished, their weapons damaged, and their morale shaky, which immediately establishes the stakes as almost hopeless. And yet, amid this chaos, a new hope emerges because the human ingenuity that began with Elena and Ethan now spreads across the Empire. As dragon warships are modified with human-designed systems that improve speed, agility, and targeting, human engineers and pilots join the fight, working in coordination with dragon aces to create unpredictable attack patterns that confuse the enemy. And this combined force shows the central HFY theme that human creativity, adaptability, and teamwork can match or even surpass sheer raw power. As humans are not strong like dragons, but they are clever, relentless, and unafraid to challenge assumptions, and this cooperation dramatically shifts the dynamics of the battlefield, with dragons learning to rely on human strategies instead of only their instincts and raw strength, while Ethan, now trained and empowered through Elena's guidance, emerges as a unique force, not merely a dragon prince, but a fusion of dragon might and human-engineered ability, and his flight, once impossible, becomes central to the turning point, as he takes to the skies with mechanical thrusters and wing supports that allow him to maneuver in ways no ordinary dragon can, challenging both the expectations of his species and the tactics of the Void Dominion. And the battle sequences are described with intense clarity. Ships colliding, energy beams tearing through the void, dragons swooping and weaving, human pilots executing daring maneuvers, all creating a vivid and thrilling picture of chaos controlled by strategy. And this tension emphasizes how high the stakes are and how narrow the path to victory is, while also showing the emotional growth of Ethan as he confronts fear, pain, and responsibility for the first time, moving from a helpless child to a fighter capable of leading, deciding and risking himself for the survival of countless others. And the story carefully balances these personal struggles with large-scale galactic conflict, making the reader feel both the intimate courage of a single character and the overwhelming magnitude of interstellar war. And as the battle reaches its climax, Ethan identifies the enemy command ship, the central core controlling the Void Dominion fleet, and launches a daring solo attack, demonstrating the HFY idea that humans, through Ethan's adaptation and human technology, can achieve what seems impossible. And his assault is a mix of raw dragon power and human ingenuity, using thrusters to weave through fire and energy shields, striking with precision, and ultimately delivering a virus designed by human engineers that cripples the enemy network, causing chaos among the Dominion ships, which exemplifies the concept that intelligence, creativity, and bold action can defeat sheer numbers and brute force. While the surrounding dragon fleets take advantage of this disruption to destroy the remaining enemy vessels, showing how cooperation multiplies effectiveness and that humans, dragons, and other allies working together can achieve victories far beyond individual capacity. And the narrative continues to balance action and emotional resonance by showing the consequences of the conflict, with destroyed worlds, fallen warriors, and the heavy toll of war, emphasizing that even in victory, sacrifice is real and meaningful, making the triumph more poignant. And the story then shifts to the aftermath, where the Emperor and surviving dragons recognize the profound impact of humans, acknowledging that their small size and simple appearance belied their extraordinary value. And this realization reinforces the HFY theme, celebrating human perseverance, courage, and problem-solving as not only tools of survival, but transformative forces that can reshape empires. And the emotional resolution comes with the Emperor declaring that his son, Ethan, will rule not because of inherent strength or heritage, but because he learned to rise after falling, showing a profound respect for personal growth, courage, and human-inspired ingenuity. And Elena, the human maid who initiated this transformation, is honored, though she humbly credits the prince himself, highlighting the partnership and mutual respect that underpins the story's message. And the story concludes by illustrating a broader cultural shift, where humans are no longer mere servants or observers but active, valued participants in galactic affairs, teaching dragons and other species that weakness is not defeat if one is willing to fight, adapt, and innovate. And the final note emphasizes the lasting impact of this cooperation and courage. As the saying spreads across the galaxy, if humans stand beside you, you will never stay broken, leaving a resonant message of hope, resilience, and the transformative power of human ingenuity, showing that humanity's greatest strengths are its creativity, determination, and willingness to challenge limits, and tying together action, emotion, and HFY themes into a satisfying and inspiring conclusion that celebrates heroism, alliance, and the enduring ability of humans to change impossible situations into victories, ensuring the reader leaves with a sense of awe, exhilaration, and respect for the courage and cleverness of humanity in a galaxy filled with challenges far beyond ordinary comprehension.